Hey there, this is Natalie, and this is just a little extra impromptu, unscripted kind of Q&A video that I only decided to do yesterday because I'm pretty hyped about the fact I've finally reached 500 subscribers. Unfortunately, because I only have 500 subscribers and you need over 1,000 to make community posts on YouTube, I had to get these questions from my Twitter followers. So if you're one of my subscribers and there's a question you'd like to ask, then leave it in the comments and maybe I'll do another one of these in the future. For now though, let's get started with some of the things people who follow me on Twitter have asked. Some of them about me, some of them about anime, and some of them just, I don't really know how you'd categorize them in all honesty. I'm going to start with those weird random ones actually. So, Thomas Roggenbach asks, do pigeons have feelings? This really feels like the kind of pub conversation I used to get into all the time when I lived in London. We would always be sort of drinking and talking about whether spiders had souls and things like that. I would say pigeons, they got really tiny brains and they don't seem very smart. But what they do have is kind of confidence. I would say if pigeons do have feelings, then the feeling that they have the most is probably some kind of cockiness. Yeah, let's go with that. Simply Cryptic, who's pretty awesome, asked me on Twitter, how are you? I'm good, thanks. I'm good, bro. I will get to another question from you in the ReZero section though. Now maybe some anime related questions. Spicy asked me what got me into ReZero. Well, at the time when I first watched the first season of ReZero, I was kind of watching just any isekai that came out because I'd started kind of writing a lot of isekai books myself. I'm kind of a lewd harem writer normally, and I just started to kind of implement a lot of isekai type ideas in there. And so I was watching all those really kind of second rate things like Death March to the New World Rhapsody and things like that. And I came across ReZero. I think at the time when I first started watching it, I thought it was going to be a bit like Konosuba, and I really love Konosuba. And I think it was probably around Arc 2 when I actually just said to my boyfriend who I was watching it with, this isn't like Konosuba at all, is it? But in a good way. I mean, I think it was when I got to episode 15 that I decided to read the books. I don't normally read ahead on things. I think the only other thing I'm really ahead on is Attack on Titan. But yeah, I just wanted to know more about the world that ReZero is set in. I wanted to know why Puck was able to destroy the world and what all that was about. I just felt like there was so much more to the story and definitely wouldn't be getting it all from the remaining few episodes. So that was when I decided I was definitely going to read it. And I'm glad I did read it because it took so long for season 2 to come out, and also because it's given me a lot of things to talk about on this channel. I do plan to talk about some other series in the gap between the first and second core, but I mean, when it comes to the kind of content I really like doing, the analysis and theories and stuff like that, there's only really so many shows you can know enough about or be as deep into to be able to do that kind of stuff. That, you know, I mean, there's always going to be ReZero for me, the thing that I overthink and make that kind of stuff about. So yeah, I am really glad I did start watching it, and I'm really glad I started reading it too. Matt Chemist, who is also really awesome, who follows me on Twitter, asked me for my top favourite anime MCs. This is why I shouldn't do things without a script. I actually have to fail at this one. It's really hard, and I also don't want you all to make fun of me for picking people you've never heard of from the 90s, you know, like Lena Inverse or Kenshiro. Though actually, if you haven't heard of Lena Inverse, go and watch The Slayers. It's brilliant. It's It's hilarious, and Lena Inverse, the main character, she's a sorceress. If you're a fan of Megumin, you will probably notice some references in the way that Megumin casts her spells and things like that to Lena. So yeah, check it out. It's really funny. You can get over the 90s look of the animation and artwork, and yeah, it's great. But that's a bit of a diversion from the question. Okay, thinking about it, there actually aren't that many anime recently where the main character is my favorite character in the show. But yeah, if I have to pick 5 off the top of my head, really good MCs, I would say obviously Subaru, Jotaro Kujo, he's my favorite JoJo, Saitama, Guts from Berserk, but I guess that's more of a manga answer than an anime answer. Anyone who's seen the fairly recent CGI remakes of Berserk will probably understand why I'm saying that. Oh god, they're all boys. I should probably name a girl so people don't think I'm like one of those girls that doesn't like girls. Kaguya is a really good main character. I mean, she's a joint main character with Shirogane, and I like him too. But yeah, just for some diversity between men and women in the top 5 there, I'll add her. Blynn Grayson asked for my favorite anime movie. I'm going to disappoint you guys with this answer. I don't really watch a lot of the anime movies. I'm always sort of like looking at them thinking, yeah, I could watch like Grave of the Fireflies or something and better myself and feel something, or I could just watch like Assassination Classroom or something. So yeah, my favorite anime movie is probably the Konosuba movie. I'm planning to watch the Goblin Slayer movie. That looks pretty good. And I guess I'll watch Made in Abyss when that comes out. But usually I only watch the ones that are continuations of series I already like. Honestly, I know so little about the anime movies that I thought I Want to Eat Your Pancreas was just a joke title that someone made up for a meme. And I thought that for a really long time until someone showed me a trailer of it and I was like, oh, that's a real thing. And it looks really depressing. David Woolston asks, Fairy Tail or One Piece? There's actually only one answer I can give to that, which is Fairy Tail, because I haven't seen One Piece. I do really like Fairy Tail though. I know it's one of those kind of guilty pleasure anime for a lot of people. I just think that it's one of those shows that has a really big cast and there's only like 1 or 2 that annoy me, which is rare in these things, you know. Incidentally, the 1 or 2 that annoy me are Wendy and that cat that goes around with Wendy. Charles, I think she's called. Yeah, apart from them, I actually like all of the characters in Fairy Tail. The plot isn't always solid, but yeah, I mean, it's alright. One Piece, I'm just like, there's 1,000 episodes or so, and I don't really like the art style, so I kind of, although I think I probably would like it if I watched it, I just, yeah, probably never going to get around to that. Someone on Twitter I was talking to about this the other day pointed out that they think the characters from One Piece look like Attack on Titan Titans, you know, not the cool ones, the like derpy looking ones. You know, like all the main characters look like that, and I thought that was kind of funny, so yeah, I kind of agree with it too. J. Nathaniel Corres asked me, which series, new or old, are you currently watching or recommending? Of this season's new anime, I'm currently only still watching Decadence, Misfit of Demon King Academy, and God of High School, as well as obviously ReZero, but given that my channel is sort of 90% ReZero stuff, I didn't think that needed to be added. I'm also giving Sword Art Online a second chance. I'd previously kind of got bored of it and stopped watching it in the second season when that was airing, and not really giving it that much thought, but I kept hearing good things about Alicization, so I watched Ordinal Scale to catch up. I didn't really think much of that, to be honest, But then I watched the first season of Alicization, and I'm kind of halfway through part 1 of War of the Underworld. I mean, I still don't really think it's peak fiction, but it's pretty entertaining, and yeah, I think I'm gonna finish it and probably make some videos about it too. So yeah, that's my current stuff that I'm watching. I usually am watching some like old things as well in the background, just kind of getting through some series. I watched Haikyuu recently, actually. That was one I'd kind of slept on and not got around to, even though I do actually really like sports anime. Yeah, that was pretty good too. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in the end. I'm guessing a volleyball match. The Flaming Fern asked me to rate Otto's Hat. Yeah, this is... I love Otto, but the hat is... Yeah, I wouldn't have put that hat on him. I wouldn't put that hat on anybody. It's a 1 for the hat, sorry. Actually, to be honest with you, that is my one gripe with ReZero's character designs, is what's with the weird hats. Crush has a weird little hat. It's like tiny little hat that serves no purpose. Beatrice has the little crown. I mean, that's at least like a hair ornament or something someone might have, but the tiny hats, stop with the tiny hats. Otto's hat isn't tiny, it's just strange. And I always find when I'm like cropping pictures of him to put in videos that the hat takes up a lot of screen. There's a lot of hat there. So yeah, 1 out of 10 for the hat. Sakura asked me for my 3 favorite ReZero characters. This is another one of those that's super difficult, so I'm just gonna give like answers of characters I think are interesting. They may not be my favorites as in they're the ones I'd most like to be friends with, or the ones that I think should be on screen all the time or anything like that. But I'm gonna say I really like Priscilla, mainly for stuff she does in Arc 5, so I won't really spoil that, but I just feel like there's so much more to that character than we've seen, and I want to know more about her. And so I'm really looking forward to Arc 7 when she's going to apparently be the main faction in that. And I mean, I also like her because I've got so much that I'm curious about with Al, her knight, that, you know, whenever she's on screen, I kind of think maybe we'll get to find out more about him. So yeah, of the 5 royal selection candidates, she wouldn't be the one I'd vote for, but as a fiction character, I really like her. Another one is Reinhardt, to be honest. He's hasn't had a lot of screen time yet, but I think just his existence in the story is super interesting. Having someone that OP that they're like not allowed to go to another country without warning them first, or it will be seen as an act of war. I really like the way that Tappei has kind of dealt with the realities of somebody like that existing in his setting, rather than just being like, look at this awesome badass guy, or, you know, look at this foil for Subaru who has, you know, less powers or no powers, and this guy's got like all the powers. He's a walking cheat. Yeah, I just like the way that's been handled, and I think Tappei is really good at doing that kind of thing, like taking a character that you think he's going in one direction with, but it's actually kind of different to that. Third, I don't know, I'm just going to say Subaru. I think Subaru is probably one of the most well-written protagonists there is, and I don't really mind that he's a bit whiny sometimes, cries a lot, you know. I think he's allowed. I think he's allowed. He should have more lap pillows. Maybe not like in episode 11 that I just watched. Maybe not like that at all, but, you know, lap pillows for Subaru. And now I've got one from one of my writing friends on Twitter. I think a lot of people kind of wonder, if they follow me on Twitter, how the hell I've got like 10,500 followers on Twitter when my YouTube channel's pretty new and quite small. It's because I've been on Twitter as a writer, using the same account I use for my YouTube for a few years now, and so I've mainly got people who in the writing community or who read my books and things like that following me. So yeah, I look a lot more popular than I do on YouTube. But that meant that I've got a question about writing, which is from Sean Eric. And he asks, what's a topic or genre you want to write but haven't got to yet? This is another hard one, actually, because most people don't know, but I was a ghostwriter for a long time before I started writing my own books. And I've also written books in various genres under different pen names since I have been writing my own fiction. So I have written many different genres already. But I think the two I haven't done yet that I really want to and will, hopefully, would be cyberpunk and mysteries. And I think possibly both at once. That would be cool. I mean, most cyberpunk stories do have a bit of a noir thing going on, or a mystery or two to be solved. So that's probably the direction I would go in if I do a cyberpunk story. Okay, so that's pretty much all of the questions, and thank you for watching this, thank you for listening. I know I don't sound like I know what I'm doing because it's really late at night and I've taken a very long time trying to get this software working, so doing an unscripted video when you're really just mad at Windows 10 probably didn't come out my most eloquent, but it was really nice to have an opportunity to answer people's questions and to test out this stuff. So thank you all very much, and thank you for helping me get to 500 subscribers too. Now it's time for me to go back to working on the script for my episode 11 video, which I feel like is gonna be a pretty long analysis video. So yeah, that was one hell of an episode, but we'll talk about that in the next video. Thank you for watching, and I really hope to see you again very soon.